Okay, welcome back to the Hampshire Business Show. Today I'm here with Chuck Therrien, an Aflac agent. Thank you for joining me on the show today, Chuck.
You're welcome, Chris. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I know, me too. Great time.
I worked in social services for 25 years before I started selling Aflac 9.5 years ago. I was looking for something that I could still help people but actually make a good living at. Because social services, as you know, doesn't pay real well. Even when you have higher level degrees, it still doesn't pay well. So I got downsized after 25 years. I said maybe it's time I do something else, and that's what I decided to start selling Aflac, because I like the Aflac products. I'd been a customer for a few years before I started selling them, so I knew I had a little background as far as what they do. So that's how I wound up where I am now.
Okay.
9.5 years later.
Okay, so everyone knows about the Aflac duck.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about
Aflac itself. Okay, first off, the duck has been around since 2000. I like to tell the story of how the duck got to be the duck. Back in the late 1990s, Aflac was not as well known as it is today. So they were looking for something to kind of get people stimulated. So they hired an advertising agency in New York. I don't know the advertising agency. I'm not even sure they still do our advertising or not, but that's neither here nor there. And they had a team working on the Aflac, and one of them was sitting there at his desk kind of going, Aflac, kind of thinking out loud, going, Aflac, 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 and his partner looked at him and said, hey, you sound like a duck. And thus the duck was born. But the company itself has been around since 1955. Excuse me. It was three brothers, the Amish brothers, founded the company. And they started out as American Family Life Insurance Company. It was, life insurance. And in 1957, I think it was the eldest brother, could have been the youngest, it was either the eldest or the youngest brother, got cancer and passed away. And the remaining brothers decided maybe we need to start doing something for people who get sick. And that's when it became American Family Life Assurance Company. And that's when they introduced their first catastrophic coverage product, the cancer product. And since then, we've had a cancer product in one iteration or another within the Aflac family, as it were. And through the 60s, they started growing. They started in Atlanta, Georgia, where the corporate office is still. And back 25 years ago, Aflac joined forces with the Children's Hospital in Atlanta, and now they have the Aflac Children's Cancer and Blood Disorders Center in Atlanta. And if you go to Atlanta and you go to the hospital, they'll be more than happy to give you a tour of the facility. And of course, Aflac is very, very well known down in the South. But it's only since the 1970s that they started spreading out throughout the country. And now it's available in all 50 states. We also, back in the 70s or early 80s, Aflac started to expand, and they expanded into Japan. So we are in two countries. We're in Japan and we're in the United States. Aflac, even though Japan has nationalized health care, Aflac is still available, and 25%, 1 in 4 people in Japan have Aflac. That's pretty good. The top 20 companies on the Tokyo Exchange, including companies like Mitsubishi and some of the other big Japanese companies, offer Aflac to their employees. It's awesome. We actually have more policyholders in Japan than we do in the United States. Even though it's a smaller country, yeah, we have a lot more policyholders. Because you have 25% of the population as Aflac.
Yeah.
And one of the things Aflac does, as with all policies, especially our life insurance policies, excuse me, there's a clause for acts of war declared and undeclared. Well, on September 11th, we had many customers in the towers that didn't survive. Aflac, regardless of what their policies said, paid those families. Almost within a few, once they determined that people had actually died, within a few weeks of that, they paid everybody. Other insurance companies fought against it because it was an undeclared act of war. Well, you know what? It's not these people's fault. They were in the tower on the plane or, on any of the planes. And that's one of the things that Aflac does is they really want their customers come first. Customers always come first, and they take very good care of them. And the company just celebrated last year. We just celebrated our 60th anniversary. And it's just continued to grow and grow. And currently, in the Northeast, we have about a 4% penetration rate amongst small companies. Our sweet spot is small companies. We like, when I say small companies, 100 people or less. We have a lot of other big companies, obviously, but the majority of our business is the small business market. Actually, of 50 employees or less is where we have the majority of our business, and that's where Aflac is today. We're continuing to expand.
Yeah, that's really good. It's definitely a great benefit for employers.
Yes.
And especially for the employees, because like you said, they get that policy. They can help pay off their deductibles, which is something that are rising, and so I could definitely see how that would help families out just across the board.
Absolutely, and the rates are very, very reasonable. As an example, the accident policy on an individual policy is $40 a month, which is not all that horrible. I'm sorry, that's for husband and wife is $40 a month. An individual policy is about $30 a month. If you get it through a group, it can be as low as $7 a week.
Well,
So, I've been doing this. I came into this back in April of 1977. 1977. Sorry, 2007. And as I said, the products are fabulous. We offer a variety of products that, if you get hurt or if you get sick, Aflac will pay you cash. We have 15 products, give or take. They keep adding products, so I'm not sure exactly where we're at the moment. But some of them are available individually and some of them are available through an employer's group. But one of the products that I like to focus on is our accident coverage. People get hurt. I don't care how good you are, I don't care how graceful you are, I don't care how wonderful, if you're a twinkle toes, it doesn't make any difference, people get hurt. And the beauty of the accident coverage is if you get hurt, we're going to pay you cash. If you get hurt and you see a doctor within 3 days, we're going to send you a check for $120 regardless of anything else. Excuse me. And it's very fast. Aflac does something that no other insurer does. We have 1 day pay. If you file a claim by 3 p.m. of any business day, Aflac will send you a check the next day. And actually they do direct deposit, so it's even better. You don't have to wait for the mail. In fact, I use myself as an example, or my wife as an example. She went to the doctor on Thursday. I filed the claim Friday morning, and the money won't be in the account today because it's a holiday, but the money will be in the account tomorrow morning. So it's very fast, very quick. As long as everybody gets their information in, Aflac will pay you without question. And how we differ from other carriers that provide the same types of services. We pay for many things, a lot of them don't. Again, I'm using the accident coverage because that's the one that I talk about the most. Aflac will pay for anything that happens outside your body. If you fall, if you get stung, if you get poison ivy, if you get a sunburn, you're gonna get paid. I always like to tell the story, and I think you've heard this before. I've told this at our Gold Star meetings and many other places. Had a fireman went on his honeymoon to Cancun. The last day of the honeymoon, he fell asleep face up, naked on the beach. It was a nude beach. It wasn't a general beach, I guess. But anyway, fell asleep in the sun.
Yeah.
Woke up and he was very seriously burned. His wife was not pleased with him. He got home, he went to the emergency room the next day, and he got almost $2,000 because he was pretty sick from the sunburn, as you can imagine. But even doing things that are not the smartest thing in the world, we still pay.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an awesome product. We have a cancer product that's second to none. If you get cancer and you bought that, we have an initial diagnosis rider that will pay you up to $10,000 if you get cancer of any internal cancer of any kind. My wife, again, I use my wife because we've had the policies a lot, as you can imagine. And my wife had her policy 2 months, excuse me, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2008. She's fine, by the way. She is now 8 years cancer-free.
Good.
So she's doing quite well. But she got diagnosed with the cancer at the beginning of November. It took a couple days extra because she'd only had the policy for a couple of months. Aflac had to check to make sure that she didn't have it prior to, because it will not cover pre-existing, obviously. And her first check was over $10,000. It's an incredible product. The service is fabulous, and that's the beauty of Aflac, is we service our customers like nobody else. But how do I service my customers? I do not just walk in and sell anything. I am not a salesman. I come in and I will sit down with people, whether it's through a group or through an individual. I'll sit down and I'll talk to people and say, okay, what's your family history like? Do you have a family history of cancer, heart attack, strokes, The accident coverage kind of speaks for itself. Excuse me. It's a very reasonable product, price-wise. Actually, all of our products are very reasonably priced. I will sit down with a person and we'll talk about their needs. I'm not going to sell them something they don't need, because all that does is make for a very unhappy person. And it doesn't make me happy because they're not happy. So I want to make sure that my customers are happy. When I go into a group, I will go in and I'll do a presentation to a group. I'll sit down with the individual employees before I sign anybody up, because again, I don't want to sell them something that they're not going to be happy with. There's no point to that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's sit for a second, do a quick check. You're fine, and you are still right. Okay. I just like doing that once in a while. You're a little break. Okay, yeah. What do you think? So we went into that, a little bit about Aflac, a little bit about you.
A little bit about what I'm looking for. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever you're.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, moving forward, kind of what it is that we can do to help you out.
Okay. We always talk about ideal customers, an ideal customer, an ideal group. I do individual, which a lot of Aflac agents choose not to do. I don't know why, but that's neither here nor there. So I will talk to individuals. There is a limit as to what I can sell an individual. There's only 5 policies of the 15 or so that we sell that I can offer to an individual. But the key ones are the accident, the cancer, and the heart attack and the stroke, and of course, life insurance.
Yeah.
Everybody sells life insurance. So I will sit down and I will talk to people about what their needs are. But as far as groups go, I do anywhere from, in order to get the group rates, it's 3 people or more. But the beauty of the group rates is, for the employer, does not cost them anything to offer the products, unless they choose to subsidize the employees' premiums. But the fact of the matter is that if I go in and talk to an employer, I will go in and talk to the employees. And again, I talk to them as a small group or a group, however big the group is. And then I will sit down with them on an individual basis and I will consult with them. But the key is for me to sit down and talk to the employer and explain to them that the Aflac is, especially in the environment that we have currently with the insurance situation, it allows the employee to help pay those premiums, or not the premiums, excuse me, to pay the deductibles and the co-pays on the policies that they have. Aflac pays the cash to the employee chooses how they're going to spend it. And that's the other thing, is the money goes to the person, the policyholder. It does not go to the doctors. It does not go to the hospitals. And that's the difference between health insurance and Aflac. Health insurance pays the doctors, pays the hospitals, pays the prescriptions. Aflac pays the policyholder.
I know people get confused when it comes to actually putting a policy in. So I
Right.
guess let's talk about, you get hurt.
Claims process. Claims process. When you get your policy, Aflac will send you a link so you can get it. You can either download a copy of your policy electronically, or you can just keep it online. So you get, as a policyholder, you get your own page, your own home page, as it were, on Aflac. You get hurt, you go to the doctor. If you go to the emergency room, I use the emergency room because that's a real great example of how simple this process is. You get a sheet of paper from the emergency room that says this is what happened. You go home, you scan it into your computer, you log into your account, you type in the information it's looking for, send a copy of that scanned record, and Aflac will process it like that. It's very simple, very easy. And if you have follow-up appointments, it's the same process for all. The only exception to that is for life insurance.
Yeah.
That's because of federal regulations. But for any other claim, any claim at all, whether it's a $120 claim or a $35 follow-up visit or a $10,000 hospital bill, it can all be done online. And that's something nobody does but Aflac.
Wow.
It's very simple.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I know that would freak people out too. Is
Absolutely.
how do I do it? What do you do? So that whole process is.
And most of the time, when somebody has their first claim, I always tell them to call me so I can walk them through the process. And if they're really not sure how to do it, I will get together with them and show them how to do the process. It's that simple.
Right. So how do we find out more about you, Chuck? Where do we
Okay,
go?
best way to get a hold of me, call me.
Mhm.
My phone number is 603-851-1154. You can text me, you can call me. You can also find me on Twitter. God, what's my username? At Chuck TNH.
Okay.
And then you can also email me. It's Charles at Petra, Petra, insurance.info.
Thanks so much for joining me today, Chuck.
You're welcome.
Great having you on. I've been looking forward to this one.
Well, thank you for having me, Chris.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and catch you guys next time.